What's going on, guys? Fenn's the Spook, checking in with you in the new year. 2018 is upon us. We're on the second take of this video because I did, as Dr. Silveridge said, I didn't like the way it turned out, the first take, and what I mean by that is it was too damn long. I'm going to try to cap this at 20 minutes. So what's going on? We're going to jump right into this. I'm going to try to keep the intro short. I'm going to be going through my early actions. I have a little bit of an action comic stack here up until probably about 1968. The end of the checkerboards is when I'm going to stop. Because I got more beyond that. We'll do those another day. But that's not really the point of the video. I mean, it is because I want to kind of, ultimately I want to show you all the stuff I've got as we go on through the years here. But the point of this video, as the title indicates, is different than just showing my action comics. I want to make a public service announcement. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to use myself as an example here. If you are not checking the books that you buy, when I'm talking to vintage collectors here, if you collect mostly modern and variants and things like that, I don't think that this applies as much, or certainly to many orders of magnitude less. But if you're a vintage collector, my public service announcement, I'm going to start 2018 off with a public service, a PSA. Check your books, count your pages, check your centerfolds. If you don't, you are going to find some nasty surprises down the road. Your collection will be what you think it is or worse, and if you don't look at things, it will be worse. All these books you have sitting in boxes, oh yeah, I've got, I'm just making this up, but I've got Green Lantern number, 10 through 20. Cool, what kind of condition are they in? Oh, they're in mediocre shape, they're in medium shape. Do you really know what shape they're in? Have you looked? How many are missing their centerfold? How many have the cover detached by a staple? How many have some kind of water stain? How many have subscription creases? How many have names written on the inside? How many have pages missing on the inside? If you don't open your comics, if you don't check them, you're not going to know these things, and you're going to find out later when it's too late. Take it from me and check your comics, and I'm going to show you why here tonight. The reason I'm doing this is I'm actually going through my entire collection and assessing condition and value on it for insurance purposes. Just a friend of mine had it, and he was, it's borderline, what I have is certainly covered by my homeowner's insurance. It's certainly not of any value to exceed that. But as you guys know, those of you with homes, or homeowners, I should say, or rental insurance, really, they're not going to give you replacement value if your stuff is lost, stolen, or burnt in a fire. You need a special rider for it. So, and unfortunately, you got to inventory all your books and have a condition assessment on all of them. And that's what I'm doing. And some of them I've had real good, turnouts on. A lot of my magazines. The magazines were in nice shape. I was real happy with. But in particular, my Action Comics run has been a chock full of a lot of ugly surprises. And we're going to start now. And I'll stop blathering and get right into it so this video doesn't take forever, but here we go. So, Action Comics 267. This is my earliest one. This really has no hidden defects. This is what I thought it was when I bought it. It is what it is. It's got a real ugly spine tear down there. It's probably a 3.0. Good, very good. It is the third appearance of the Legion of Superheroes, which used to be a big deal and doesn't seem to be as much anymore. It's first appearance of Chameleon Boy, Colossal Boy, and Invisible Kid. It is also the first appearance of Supergirl as Superwoman. I wanted to give notes on these books, get a little more informative with my videos, stop shooting from the hip as much. So if it seems like I'm reading, it's because I have some notes. So there you go. That was not a bad way to start, right? That was a nice book, and it has a good... it's not in great shape, but you know what you're getting. This one was a CGC book that I broke out of the slab, Action Comics 296. I'm not going to make a lot of commentary on the artist because it's all Kurt Swan. The covers are all Kurt Swan. The interiors are Kurt Swan, Plastino, or Moody. But for the most part, this is mostly Kurt Swan art on the cover. So no real need to get to delineate them. So this is Action 296. Just whatever. It's a nice copy. 4.5 was the grade. Check it out though. I think a lot of people are really loose with their definition of VG. This is a VG plus. I think a lot of people would try to call this book a fine. I agree with the grade they gave it, but I think a lot of us need to be a little more conservative with our grading. This book looks really nice. Now it's in a Mylar. It's got the Mylar spell on it, so it's going to look better than what it is. But yeah, VGs are not wrecked books, guys. A VG should not be a book that you look at and go, ugh, like, geez. Everyone likes to say, well, this book's trashed, it's a VG. It's like, no, VGs are not trashed. VGs are books that have a lot of wear, but are still, solid copies. So no surprises there. Action $2.99. What do we got on this one? Again, I'm making notes on hidden damage for myself. No notes on this one, so this one just is what it is. Action $2.99. So we'll get into, really, you'll see my point here shortly when we get into the Silver Age. Well, this is Silver Age, but for some reason, late Silver Age DC seems to have a lot of hidden defects. I think guys like Dr. Silver Age and, a couple other you vintage collectors might be able to back me up on that. Tell me what you think. This is Action 322, and this is kind of where it started to get a little bit ugly for me. So Action 322, I was like, oh, that book's, pretty good shape. We'll bring it in so you can check it out. Again, I don't want to take forever with these. I mean, you can pause it and kind of assess condition. But remember, this is how we all, and let's be honest, this is how we all buy our comics. We look at it, we go, yeah, $20, $25, that looks nice. That's a nice Silver Age Action Comics, 12-cent Kurt Swan cover, probably fine. Probably, VG fine, 5060. This book's centerfold is detached. So the best you could really call it is a good plus. It's there. The centerfold is there, but it's detached. Didn't know it till I checked it. Now, what did I pay for this book? Probably not $20, $25, but I might have. If this is the only thing I bought from somebody and I just, there's a nice action I don't have. I don't know, guys. I mean, I've been collecting for 15, 16 years as a hardcore vintage collector. Hardcore, as a vintage collector. I have no idea what I paid for this or where I got it or who I got it from, but the centerfold's detached and I didn't know that. Your collection is worse than you think it is unless you're checking your stuff, guys. Not to be naggy or whatever, but I'm just using my stuff as an example so you understand that I felt this pain. I want you new guys, or even the guys who've been collecting longer than me. It's always good to reassess. Action Comics 230. Again, bring it in so you can check it out. Again, you look at this book, you might say, oh, man, fine, very fine, probably fine, right? 6.0 looks really tight. Doesn't have a lot of ugly wrinkles. Doesn't have a lot of problems. Staples detached on the top of the cover. Now this one I knew about when I bought it. I think I got this book for $5, which is probably about what it's worth. Probably about what it's worth. $5, $6, $7 maybe. Great cover, cool devil cover. Well, diabolical, Dr. Supernatural. Covers detached on the top staple. So, you know what I mean? That one I knew about, so there was no ugly surprises there, but VG minus at best. At best. This one, here was the ugliest surprise of them all. Action Comics 334. Giant size. So notice it's not in a Mylar. 2 reasons for that. One, I had it in a Silver Age Mylar. It did not fit. Don't put your 80-page Giants in... Well, the titling on the Mylars is weird, but the silver gold size are really Golden Age size, and that's what you should be using for the Giants. These don't fit in the standard size. They do fit, and you can make them fit, and I did, but it's very stressful for the book, and it's not a good idea. I would not recommend that. Keep these in one size bigger than what the age says they should be in. So I got to put it in a better size Mylar, and I don't know how I missed this, y'all. This book has no back cover. I don't know how I missed it. I didn't know it. I didn't have it. I didn't know it. I can tell you that right now. I did not know that book was missing its back cover. I probably never looked. I probably bought it, was like, there's a VG copy of an action I need and, whatever. And now here we are actually looking through my stuff, actually taking stock of what you have and what you own. And the back cover is missing. It's a fair, a 1. It's worth $3, $4, $5 maybe because it's an 80-page giant to checkerboard. Maybe. I don't even know if it's worth that without a back cover. Now, what am I going to do with it? I'm not going to trash it. It's a cool reader copy. It's marked for imminent replacement, though. You know what I mean? It's been marked for replacement and to be replaced immediately. If one of y'all wants it, let me know. I'll be happy to send it to you. Be happy to give that one to someone who needs it for a reader or as the placeholder once I've upgraded it. Action 335, one of the few that actually did hold its ground and did actually warrant the grade it appears. This one is a nice one. I graded this one at a fine, very fine, a 7.0. So part of the video is you can check out my grading, see what you guys think. I'm pretty harsh, I think. I think I'm pretty real with my stuff. I try to be honest about my grading. I try not to look at the value of the book before I grade it, because I don't want to be influenced by that. I think a lot of people would call this book near mint on eBay. It's not. It's just not. It's a little bit dirty, blah, blah, blah. No real notes. It's got an arrival date stamped on the back cover. That doesn't, in my opinion, take off from the grade. I don't think CGC actually does either. Action 326, another one that was high grade and appeared to be high grade or higher grade and was. I showed this one. I got this at Daytona this year. Probably a 7. Again, fine, very fine. But again, I really didn't know because... No, that's a lie. I had checked this one because I bought this one recently. And I check my stuff now. When I buy... I mean, it annoys some dealers. I'm not going to lie. It annoys some dealers. You'll sit there and start opening the stuff. You might want to ask them. Be polite. Be careful with the tape. Don't be screwing around with their stuff. But you need to check your stuff before you're buying it. Because if this book was missing a centerfold, it goes from a $20 book to like a $3 to $4 book. If that. Maybe I don't even want it, you know? So, whatever. Again, I'm not sour about this, guys, because I kind of knew this was coming. All these years of collecting kind of without checking my stuff. And this is the price we pay for not being readers, isn't it? I mean, that's the elephant in the room. How many of y'all vintage collectors really read your books? Probably not many of you. You're mostly like me. I'm 90% cover collector, 10% reader. Mostly the books I read are either randos that I just am in the mood to read, or they're the horror stuff. I haven't read most of these. Some of them, but not most of them. Here's another one with some hidden damage. Now, this one I think I already knew. This one, for some reason, when I picked it up, I kind of had in my mind that something was wrong with it. But yeah, stapled attached at bottom centerfold. Probably otherwise, I would grade this a VG fine, a 5.0. But with that centerfold attached at the bottom staple, it's really a VG. Again, where am I getting my grading definitions from? The Overstreet Guide and the Overstreet Guide for Grading. That's just what I use because it's just systematic, easier to point to and say, well, why do you say this? Well, because this is the kind of standard that people accept. Action 338, another one that didn't have hidden damage, but I thought was higher grade than it is. In my mind, this was like a VF. If you had said, hey, man, I need a 338, you want to sell me yours, what grade do you think yours is? I said, I think it's a VF. An 8.0, pretty nice book. Has a subscription crease down the center of it, which you probably can't see in the Mylar. It doesn't break the color, but it's still there. So, certainly not an 8. But a nice book, nonetheless. Again, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining about my books. I'm very happy with my Action Comics collection. But I just want to show you what happens when you don't check your books. When you buy vintage without checking it, you are going to get burned sometimes. In 60s DC, for some reason, again, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just because I have more DC than Marvel. Check 60s DC centerfolds, especially. I find more detached centerfolds. And I'm talking about what I'm buying now, because I told you, I check stuff now. And when I'm in a guy's, a booth and I'm looking through stuff, I find detached centerfolds all the time. And yeah, it makes it awkward. Yeah, it makes it hard to deal with the guy because now he's sour. Not at you, but you can't help it. Who wants to hear that their book's messed up? Nobody. It does. It makes the deal harder, but I'm not buying it, man. I'd rather say, hey, look, dude, this centerfold's detached. Him get a little bit sour and me kind of realize I can't buy anything from him that day and walk away than to buy that book by accident and get home and be like, whoops, a book's missing a centerfold. That's the worst, is missing something. Action 339. So again, remember, part of this is just me showing off my actions. They're not all bad. And even the ones that do have a problem, like I'm still keeping them. They're part of my collection. I'll just give them to somebody one day or trade them, something like that. But I try to be very clear. Again, this one also centerfold detached at the bottom. I just checked my notes. Because if I traded this to one of you guys, I would want you to know that. If Dr. Silver had said, hey, Steve, oops. I think that's the third time I've said my actual name in the video, but whatever. Hey, man, in videos, I should say. Hey, man, I need Action Comics number 339. Do you have it? I'd say, yeah, man. Oh, I've got it. It's probably fine plus. He gets it. Centerfold's detached at the bottom staple. He probably wouldn't go crazy on me, but I don't want that to happen, If I trade this to somebody, I want them to be happy with what they're getting. I want to know what it is. I want them to know what it is. Full disclosure. You know what I'm saying? Action Comics 340. Here's a good example of one you must check because there's the pinup inside. And a pinup could be pulled and you wouldn't even notice it because it doesn't have any story on it and it wouldn't make the book appear to be complete. You got to count pages, y'all. I know that sounds ridiculous. Do I really got to open a book up and count all the pages? Yes, you do. Because if you don't, it could be missing one. Half of one could be ripped out and you wouldn't even know it. And you guys know how the value of these things are. If something's missing like that, if something's ripped out, it just gets gutted in price. And you will feel quite the fool that you paid for it if it's not there. So be careful, y'all. Be careful. That's the PSA here. We're getting to the end. We're getting to the end. Stick with me because I've got one I'm going to show you the interior on. I'm going to show you something. If it goes my way. If there's a big edit in this video, you'll know something went wrong. So Action 341. I think something's detached on this one. Yep. Oh, no, this one just has a book-length crease on the back cover. Batman appearance, Supergirl backup story. Cool book. Some cool checkerboards here. Hopefully, if nothing else, even if you're already like, dude, I check all my stuff, I already know everything you're saying. At least, hopefully we're just hanging out and sharing some Action Comics. You know what I mean? Action Comics 342. I just wanted to make my videos a little more informative this year, a little more on point with the information, and a little less, like I said, shooting from the hip kind of stuff. I feel like, those are good, and we'll still have those, but, So good, nice little string here of ones without any ugliness. This is probably a VG copy. Again, what do you think? Is my grading too hard? I mean, I know you probably can't tell. The spell of the Mylar keeps these babies looking nice even when they're ugly. But I feel like I'm a pretty strict grader. Action 344. A cool one with a Batman crossover. Again, these are all checkerboards at this point. Probably VG fine. 5.0 maybe. Again, I don't want to take a long time going over each book individually. Because I don't want the video to take 1,000 years. The glare's not great, blah, blah, blah. You know the reasons. This one. So here, if you see a video cut now, it'll be because I screwed up doing this. So what I'm going to try to do, and hopefully it'll work, is I'm going to show you what happened when I graded this book. I'm actually going to take you through it. So here we go. If this works, you'll see it. If not, there'll be a big cut in this video. So I was grading this one here just before I made the video, and this is kind of what prompted me to do it. And here's what I do when I grade. All right, so we'll take you through it real quick. Again, it's going to be kind of awkward because of the way I got to hold it, but we'll do the best with what we can. So here it is. You open it up and you start checking the pages, right? You check, say, 1, 2, and you'll see where I'm going. Stick with me here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you should have a centerfold. Well, there's no centerfold. There's no staples. Like, what's going on with this book? So we flip back. There's your centerfold right there. So there's a page missing in this book. So I go back to the beginning. Look what it actually is. Half a page is missing. I didn't count the first page because it was I didn't even get to it up here. It was missing. So this one was the shocker of all, other than maybe the one. Let me put it back. The one that was missing the back cover, because I had never opened this book. I had no idea that the first page was cut in half, and yeah, again, marked for immediate replacement. Again, take the idea, take the pain that I'm feeling as I go through these books and learn from it. Don't let this happen to you. So yeah, that's Action 345, needs replacement. Action 346. The rest of these are okay. I actually don't think I had any more ugly surprises through the rest of my checkerboards, which was nice. Little VG copy here. Getting to the 20-minute mark, so I'm probably going to wrap it up. Well, we are going to wrap it up soon. We're almost done with the comic stack. Thanks for sticking with me on this one. I know this one may have been a little tedious, but just remember, this is why you're going to check this stuff, man. Come back and watch this video, or not even, forget the view numbers. Just come back and remember this video when you're at the show and you're in a hurry. Stop and check your books. Count the pages. 80-page giant Supergirl, or Action Comics featuring Supergirl. This one, again, is out of the Mylar just because the Mylar I was in the wrong size. This is actually giant size 33 and has an Origin of the Comet retold and a Bizarro story. So I'll bring that in. Pretty cool book. These are nice because you can handle these a little more freely. I don't know why. I'm just so much less worried about the giants. They're just so much thicker and stronger than the other books. Last two. Action 349. Cool mummy cover. Face of Fear. I don't think I have any notes on this one. Yeah, this one's all right. So again, the point here is check your books, as I've said 1,000 times, and I'm going to say one more time. Otherwise, the old adage that me and my buddy, old adage, it's not old if we made it up. And I'm not going to say we're the first people to say this, but this is just something we've always said. Your collection is worse than you think it is. Every book you own, that's number 352, and the last of my Action checkerboards, Action Silver Age, 352. Another one marked for replacement, just because it's kind of a nasty copy. It's got a lot of wear, and it's got 10 cents written right there. Blech. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this one actually is detached in the, yep, centerfold detached at the bottom staple. So now normally that would rank this a VG, but because of the other problems, I went ahead, you got to adjust for that stuff. If it's a beautiful book and the centerfold's detached at one staple, probably a VG plus. If it was already a VG and the centerfold's detached at a staple, it's probably a good, very good at 3. So that's where this one kind of fell in for me. So anyway, all good. I love my Action comics. Don't get me wrong; they're a great comic. I don't, none of these make me sick or really upset me or anything like that. But I will admit, going through them and grading them out, there's been some surprises because when I was younger, I was lazy. I didn't check stuff, and now I'm getting burned for it. So don't let it happen to you guys. Hopefully that wasn't too terrible to sit through. We've hit the 21-minute mark, so I'm going to stop right now. Fens the Spook. First video 2018. Hopefully it wasn't a clunker. I'm not sure if it's a keeper or not, but I guess if it hits the airwaves, you'll know that it at least passed my bar of mediocrity. See you guys next time.